Good morning, good afternoon and good evening all. This is Yorkie, I hope you're doing well. Today we're at Bahrain for a 25% race distance race. And we are in the Mercedes, sporting a new Mercedes helmet, taking the Red Bull sponsors off. It was meant to be ready for the ARL League, but unfortunately dropped out from that. But I'll get the new sponsors anyway. So just switching my tyre strategy. The race setup that I'm using is exactly the same as my Bahrain in-depth track guide. So make sure to go check that out to see the setup that I use for this track. Here we go into the grid now. And as you can see there in 6th place is the guy who has the title of this video. So we're waiting for the 5 lights, and we're away. We get a reasonably good start. Williams on the left hand side there doesn't get away as well as me, but I use a bit of curves off the line. So we shift up into 5th, now 6th gear. We're going to brake, and yeah, you get punted way off into the runoff area. Someone behind me didn't anticipate the braking zone, but it looks like Black Sea's got him spun off somewhere. It looks like down in turn 2 on the minimap. Now all the way back in 9th. So we've got a little bit of work to do, try and catch up with the rest of the guys, but it looks like we're closing on this Lotus relatively quickly. We're just going to dive straight down the inside. Seem to be rather slow. So shifting the brake bias to the rear for turns 9 and 10. And even still managed to get a lock up, and car started to oversteer on turn-in, so I had to apply the brakes and turn out of the corner a little bit to regain control of the car. And we've got MaxiMe up in front of me. So this is the guy that has given us the title for this video. We had some good battles with him in this race, and actually in the last race I did do a race before this. He finished 1st, and when I managed to get myself up into 2nd, he was about 10 seconds up the road, and we were basically just trading sector times, and the gap really never closed. So he seems to be very quick, which would be good. Like, we're going up against quick drivers, means that I can go nice and quick as well. It looks like these 3 guys here are duking it out. So I want to try and get on in this action. So it looks like the Force India's shoved the Williams wide a little bit there. The Williams has gone very wide, so I'm going to join this pack now. I'll stick myself up on the inside, ready for turn 6, which I do so. I have MaxiMe right here in front of me, and giving myself a nice wide line. I'm going to go for the undercut on the inside, and I'm now on the outside of him for turn 9 and 10, which isn't ideal. I'm going to shift to the brake bias. It looks like he's braking a little bit early. I'm going to leave him plenty of room though on the inside, just in case he wants to use it to avoid any contact. And it looks like we managed to get around the outside of him there. So I want to try and push and catch back up with this Force India. Missed the apex ever so slightly, a little bit of understeer on turning, but nothing too threatening. It's closing up on this Force India now. So come up the top of the hill, get a lock on the inside. And MaxiMe's taken the inside line, so I've had to yield him that position. And I actually can try and squeeze past the Force India on its left hand side here, but he doesn't allow me room, and he shuts that door because he actually lags there. And goes straight on, and now he's very slow, and I had to lift out the throttle button as MaxiMe manages to get past him and jump back on and pull out to slip past him, using a bit of curves as well. So now in MaxiMe's slipstream, I actually managed to brake a little bit later than him, but I get punted up the back once again. Not entirely sure who by, but I believe it was a Force India. A couple of times he actually outbraked himself in a couple of corners, but MaxiMe unfortunately got affected by that as well. Let's get a little bit of overstay on the exit. And I was going to let MaxiMe cruise past, but he seemed to have dropped back through lag. I'm not entirely sure how. Actually, yeah, actually didn't turn into a corner there. The car didn't feel stable on turning, neither did it on the exit. So, why turn in and cause a slide and a possible spin when you can turn out of the corner, regain cornering grip, and go back in again? It only just cost you more time sliding. So, run lap 3. About 2 seconds behind the Force India up ahead. MaxiMe and his Sauber is about 2.5 seconds behind, as you can see. So let's switch out to fuel rich mixture. I'm gonna try and close the gap on this straight here. I'll use the rest of my curves. The gap's now down to 1.6. So taking about half a second off of him. MaxiMe's taking about 4/10 off of me. Just get nice good braking into the first corner. Just being nice and smooth. I'm going to use a tiny little bit of curves coming up this short straight. That's turn 4. Just be nice and smooth on the exit. Almost get a little bit of understeer, but nothing too bad. Nothing to worry about. Let's go and set the fastest first sector. Just gone purple. Now within the second of this Force India. Now a hell of a lot closer as I get a much better run through the turn 8 there. Let's come to turn 9, 10. Brake a little bit earlier to make sure not to run into the back of him. It looks like he's gone a little bit deep into the corner. Run over the curb on the exit, so I'm going to pull out alongside him. Let's see if I'm going to try and get past into this corner. There's a little bit of contact there as he moved across. But I managed to slip up the inside. To this turn, this is going to go up the inside here, so I'm going to let him. I'm going to let him have it. It's a relatively clean overtaking manoeuvre. Plus, it also means that I get DRS for the start-finish straight. That's the DRS detection point just there at the 100-meter board. And it looks like we've got much better exit coming out of that corner. We use the rest of my curves. I had about 40% saved up, so I use DRS to effectively pull away now. And you see the Force India flying up the inside. I was kind of semi-anticipating that, which is why I didn't really bother turning in. And the proximity arrows at the bottom confirm that. I saw him approaching very quickly, so didn't want to turn in, didn't want him to hit me up the back. Sent me straight on again, so let him go flying up the inside, and we'll carry on as normal. MaxiMe's now gained quite a bit on me. He's within that 1 second window, so he's going to have DRS on the next lap. So I'm going to say once again about 40% of recurse to try and defend. It looks like we've got a very looks like we've got a very slow Red Bull here. Switch up to the richer fuel mixture. Just get a very nice corner coming out the top there. And actually we've managed to gain ourselves DRS here as well. We're well within that 1 second window on this Red Bull. Let's get a little tap up back from MaxiMe there, but nothing major as the Red Bull peels off into the pits. Have a quick glance over just to confirm that, opening up the DRS. Helps majorly to try and defend against MaxiMe here, especially as a Sauber in equal settings as a Williams spins off to the side there. So that's now gifted me second place. That's actually quite unfortunate because in the previous Bahrain race prior to this one, that was one of the guys that I was battling with. We had some good wheel-to-wheel action. It's nice and fair between the two of us. So it's a shame that he spun there. So it would have been quite nice to actually have tried to overtake him. But this does give us a clear track. it does also mean we can push, try and close up on the gap on first. I'll help a little bit in trying to defend against MaxiMe, as I'll give me all the downforce that I'll need coming through the corners. I won't be in a dirty open car ahead. But as I was saying, the Sauber on equal settings on online races seems to be very, very quick in a straight line. Seems to be a little bit faster than the rest of the cars. So obviously not equal. But at least it's not as bad as 2011 apparently. So we're a little bit wide there on the exit, which isn't ideal. Use a bit of curves, seem to be pulling away, but he's now got his DRS open. And you can just see the speed that the Sauber has. He probably used a little bit of curves there to help boost him. I'm actually going to come back down his inside. He braked a little bit earlier. I was able to brake a little bit later. It'll leave him a little bit of room for turn 2, but he doesn't take it. And I managed to take that place back. I'm going to drift over to the inside of the track here, just to try and cover him off into this corner here. I managed to get a good exit coming out, so I can try the undercut. So a little bit of understeer mid-corner there, which has cost me the second part. Just saw I run out very, very wide. Gets really quite close to turn 8 there. So we come down into turn 9 and 10. Wasn't too bad. I missed the apex. Got onto the curb on the outside, coming between the two corners, which kind of cost me a little bit of braking power. Also turning. Just about managing to hold him off at the moment. He's still very, very close behind him. You can hear his engine. He's only about a 10th behind in the last split, and now a lot closer. And I'm actually going to push him and squeeze him to the inside here, try and cover him off. I'm going to dart back across to the outside to give me the wider braking zone. But he got the same idea, which is unfortunate, as I come into the pits now for my stop, and so does he. As you hear, I got him as a friend on Steam, so quick message saying interesting. As in the previous race, he did actually go one lap longer than I did.
Stay clear of the white line, we don't want a penalty.
So, coming out of pits, they break it nice and early. Don't want to risk locking up. And just going to keep an eye on our tyre temperature monitor there. Basically wait until we get those tyres green, which means they're at optimum heat, before we really start to push. So we're just going to get an understeer through that corner using the horrible exit curb.
Okay, it looks like the car ahead is trying to create a gap. He's running
Gone a little bit deep there as well, but nothing too major. So it looks like the guy who was in the lead in the Mercedes pitted on the last lap. So he's now in second and I'm in third. He's about 4 seconds up the road, which is good. Hopefully we can catch him up, but MaxiMe's coming up. He's looking rather close at the moment. He's well within that 1 second DRS detection zone, but again, very nice run through that corner and eke out quite a big gap on him. But he's now got DRS. I sit and watch him as he starts to close up behind me. But there's a little bit of a bump there from behind. But recognising that was his fault, he let me have the place back. Probably just outbraked himself ever so slightly with the DRS open. Didn't anticipate a closing speed, which I was fine with. Yawning my head off at the moment. No idea why. So now the gap has opened up to the car in front, so our work cut out for us. 5 laps left. Battling for position doesn't help when trying to reduce gaps to other drivers, especially when they're relatively quick too. So we have a nice run through that sweeping left-hander there. That one's completely flat out. Right, looks like we managed to gain about 3/10 of them in that on that one sector. Switch to the higher fuel mixture again. So once again we get another decent run coming out that final corner. But this time MaxiMe's looking quite a bit closer. And there goes his Sauber and the DRS open. Just going to stay on the inside there. I'm going to try the undercut here, coming into the first turn, but get a little bit of oversteer as we apply the throttle, which kind of negates that attempt. So now, sat behind him.
There's a group of slower cars just ahead of you.
As we come through here, getting quite close. He seems to have a good run. See the slipstream a little bit. It looks like he's gone off a little bit too far to the right there and has actually run out wide. Just kind of gifted me the position, not entirely sure what happened. There was a guy who had spun out over on the right hand side, so as you see now I've moved up from 3rd place to 2nd, or what was 4th place up to 2nd. It's obviously overtaking MaxiMe. Was involved in that as well, but yeah, there was a car over on the right hand side of the track who I'm guessing has spun. May have distracted him, so I actually ran wide there. Just pretty much gifted him back to place. I need to stay nice and close to him now. Looks like he's pulling away. And they use a tiny little bit of curves to try and maintain the gap. But I mean, within that 1 second DRS window, just get a half decent run coming out that final corner, using the rest of my curves. Use DRS now. Gonna try and make an attempt down into turn 1. It's closing up ever so slowly, but not nowhere near enough. So brake, close a little bit up in the braking zone as well, but still not anywhere near enough to make an overtaking attempt. So now I've got 3 laps to go, 3 laps of fuel, plus 3 laps of fuel, so I can run the higher fuel mixture to the end. Lay out wide on that curve once again. So he's gone a little bit sideways. Oh, and he's bumped into the side of me there. And I actually wanted to slow down and carry on battling with him there. But as you can see, the rest of the pack is coming up. And also, as you just heard there from the race engineer, he's unfortunately lost his front wing, so he's going to have an awful lot of understeer. He's going to have to actually pit in this lap. It's unfortunate. Here comes the scene messages here, saying to carry on. That was his fault. Saying to carry on. He's lost his front wing, so he can't keep up, which is very unfortunate. That's some good fun racing wheel to wheel with him, and some good overtaking maneuvers as well. But with that, as you can see, 1st place is now coming into turn 1. It's quite a long way up ahead. And that confirms that they're going to the start-finish line. Split time 12 seconds. So I got my work cut out for me in this last 2 to 3 laps. I doubt I'm actually going to be able to close the full 12 seconds up and actually overtake, but there's no harm in trying. It's definitely worth trying to also get the fastest lap if possible as well, as you do gain some experience from that. As MaxiMe saying that he's going to have to leave. Which is a shame. But nonetheless, followed him, as you can see, on Steam. So we'll probably have more battles with him in the future. So, as you can see, starting to push relatively hard, trying to hook up every single corner. Gap's down at 11.9 seconds. So I've only gained 2 tenths on him on those 2 sectors of this lap. So missed the apex ever so slightly for the last corner, but nothing too major. Still managed to maintain the speed, as I've now gone and taken a nice 4 tenths out of him in the last sector. And as you can see, it's at the fastest lap of the race, 1:34.1.
That was the fastest lap of the race. Keep that up.
So you can see the difference between battling with another car and not having to worry about another car around you. Battling with another car always tends to slow you down, so basically try and defend, taking different lines, slower lines into the corner. You're not quite paying full attention and really pushing as hard. As you can see there, we're going to take out another half a second on the car ahead, and I did go purple in that first sector by 2 tenths quicker than in my previous lap, which was the fastest lap of the race. Let's get that corner hooked up rather nicely, using both curbs on the inside and outside, trying to maximise speed throughout the corner. Just going to take out another half a second. I've gone up now half a second quicker than the previous lap. So, providing that we get the good run out of here, which we do, we'll have a very nice quick lap. It's at 1:33.6. So now got him within the 10 seconds window, which is good. Means that if he has a time penalty or anything, it will give us first place. So obviously the minimal time penalty is 10 seconds. So that'll bump him down into second and push me up into first. So once again I go purple for the first sector. And I closed a little bit more, another 3 tenths in that first sector as we run way out onto that curb. And have to ride it a little bit, rather bumpy, which isn't ideal. Still pushing quite hard as we get turn 10 hooked up very nicely and get a very good smooth exit. It's about 40% of the curves there, usually half curves for the rest, for the start finish straight. Decent run there. A little bit of wheel spin on a corner exit, but nothing major. It's now gotten down to 9 seconds. Again, going 4.5 tenths up on the previous lap. So this lap will be faster than the last one. A nice run out that last corner there. Use the rest of the curves coming down to the start finish straight. Wasn't quite at 1:32, it was at 1:33.1, and I actually managed to get the win. Yes, teammate had a 10-second penalty. Let's bump that up into first.
Great job, what a win.
So, very pleased with that. Managed to reduce the gap from 12 seconds down to, I think it was just under 9 seconds in the end. Obviously being within that 10-second penalty window, it's pushed up into the lead. So very good race, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a rating. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them below. And of course, make sure to subscribe to the channel, and also check out any previous videos that I have done and that interest you. So I'll hopefully see you soon, guys. Take care.